What's up, ladies and non-ladies? Today we're back with part 2 of the Rune video. Today we're going to be doing all of my fire monsters. Thank you very much to everyone who threw me a follow over on my Twitch page. It's really awesome. We're almost to 50 followers over there, so I can do all the stuff that I was trying to get done. If you haven't yet, I would greatly appreciate a follow on my Twitch channel. The link for that is at the top of the description, and let's go ahead and take a look at these fire monsters. My Callie you guys see quite a bit. Her one job is to kill Rakan and Rakan-like things so that Katarina can kill everything else. She is on a set of will runes and a set of shield runes and then broken. It would be nice if I could get her on will shield shield, or probably even better would be will rage or will fatal, so I can get a little bit more damage to help kill those really tanky Rakans. But she does her job very well as is. Note that she has garbage crit rate on her paper doll screen like this, but I always run her as the leader skill with the Queef Snuff buff, so we've got 53% crit coming in. You throw that on the 47, she will crit every element except water every time in my Katarina team. My Spectra doesn't get a whole lot of use nowadays. The only time I used to use her was on basically every TOA floor. I now take Mantura on almost every TOA floor, so Spectra really only gets use on the hard boss floors. So I'll use her on things like Artemil and both the 100s because her single target damage is more useful than the dot damage on the other floors from the Mantura. But on most floors, the dot damage for Mantura makes everything way faster than the nuke damage from Spectra's Special Assault ever would. My Colleen is used kind of, sort of, in a couple places. She gets some place in Siege just as a, hey, I need a good healer. So I end up bringing her. Her job, though, is to be awesome in R5, and that's what she's designed for. She's on a relatively fast, relatively tanky violent set. She will frontline like this, and she's pretty fast to where she can heal quite well also. I could use a little bit more resistance, I think, but with a lead, she's pretty good in R5. And she's going to be on speed, hit point, defense. That's pretty much the only way I could get the subs or the total hit points and defense where I want them for R5. If you were putting her in the back in R5, I'd probably have her on speed, hit point. Her being fire, it's a little bit less important to have hit point instead of defense, but I probably still would go for hit points instead. She has pretty nice base hit points, and she has garbage base defense. So you're getting better scaling out of a hit point rune. I need the defense rune to put her in the front of my R5 team. My Garo you guys see every once in a while. He does pretty much all of my fodder farming for me. I use him instead of Grago since I got him in my Giants team as a kind of defense mechanism, and then I use him in my 3-man fodder team for dragons while I'm leveling fodder with Fire Panda. Used to be Kamoon and this guy, but lately I've actually been playing around with Raccoony in his place, and Raccoony seems to be faster than Kamoon. Doesn't get the extra damage out of the Raccoony, but it must just keep the armor break up more or get Garo more turns, because they run faster with Raccoony than with the Kamoon. Both are super safe. Raccoony's faster. My Garo is on speed, crit damage, attack. He's on Vampire Nemesis. I kind of want to try him on Vampire Revenge. I think he'll farm Charuka much faster. I think Vampire Nemesis is a little bit better for PvP. I think either of them are perfect for Giants and Dragons, whereas the Nemesis is probably a little bit better, but I don't think it really matters at that point. The issue is I don't have a good way to put Vampire Revenge on him, so it's an easy decision. He gets Vampire Nemesis. My Tractor you guys see a decent amount of. He is very tanky, aside from destroying anything with 37,000 or less hit points. I have mine built a little bit different than a lot of people. Mine does less damage, but it crits very, very high. I try to hit something with wind, so he'll crit every time. I use both my bulldozer and my copper without a crit lead almost every time I use them. So both my bulldozer and my copper have much more crit than most people's do. A lot of people try to leave them at 70%. I would really kind of require mine at 85 for the way I use them, and I would love to just have just a flat 100% crit rate on both of them. Will is required. I would love to have Will Rage or Will Guard Guard. We are stuck with Will Guard Broken at the moment. And defense, crit damage, defense. My Beretta only gets use in TOA, but he gets used on almost every TOA floor. He has one of, I think, my 2 Despair sets that are in play. Medium-sized set, nothing amazing, but more than ample for TOA. He's got a little bit more accuracy than I'd really want. It just kind of happened on accident because he's got to focus a subset. And he's going to be on speed, hit point, despair, focus. My Hua is basically the thing that makes my Giants 10 team work, and a very strong part of my R5. So she has, to me, what are very strong runes. The only thing I really don't like about her is her crit's a little bit low, and given that she hangs out in resistance or in R5 so much, I would like her to have higher resistance, but I can't squeeze it all in there. She's got tons of hit points, mediocre-ish damage, lots of utility, and acceptable damage while doing it. She's going to be on speed, crit damage, hit points. I've gone back and forth between speed, crit damage, hit point, and speed, crit damage, attack. And either way, she kind of works out the same. I come to find out I prefer to just have her hit point on 6, have her never die in R5, and do a little bit less damage every time she attacks. My Raccoony doesn't get used so much. He's one of those monsters where when you just need a good monster, he fits the bill. I don't have any teams designed around him yet, but he gets used a lot in Siege just because he is really good, particularly when you run out of the ability to use monsters because you can't use them more than once. I have mine on Violent Broken, and I have it on Speed, hit point. Pretty decent stats. He's a little bit slower than I'd want, a little bit less hit points than I want. Don't really care about accuracy on him, and probably more resistance than he needs, but that's what he ended up with. Mike Moon, you guys see him all the time. He is the world ender, the massacre of everything, and the giver of invincibility to Tractor. If you put a Commune bubble on a Tractor, the bubble itself almost never breaks. It is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. My particular Commune is speed, hit point. I know some people run triple hit points. Some people put crit damage on 4. I like mine like this. I want him to never die if possible and be as fast as possible. If I could put a little bit better runes on him, he would get a little bit more resistance and a little bit more accuracy. If I could get resistance to about 50 and accuracy to about 50, I would then just focus on getting more hit points and more speed. I think he has enough defense as is. I really, really like the Destroy set on him, and the Blade is nice. You'll notice my Commune has pretty solid crit rate. No crit damage, but he still does very nice damage when he crits with his skill 2, Soul Devourer. And I can't remember, I think we already did that, maybe not. But my Commune is on speed, hit point. My Fire Panda has a fairly solid set of runes. I built him kind of planning to use him all over the place. He has moved into being super important in my Guild War and Siege offense and my R5 team. He has ridiculous, insane base stats, which makes him very easy to build, stupid tanky, and kind of not really trying that hard. So he has mediocre-ish runes focused on giving him resistance, accuracy, and speed. And because he has so much base hit points and defense anyway, he ends up being extremely tanky. Mine is on Focus, Endure, Revenge. Kind of ended up that way on accident because I want all of those stats, and this is the best kind of grouping of them that I could get, and mine is on speed, defense, hit points. My Kumar, you guys don't see very often because I do not have the runes to make Kumar work. Every time I build my Kumar, I use him and go, this sucks, I'd rather have a Colleen here. Or, this sucks, I'd rather have a Fire Panda here. So he gets runes and then gets them taken away fairly regularly. Ideally, you'd want him on Violent and speed, hit point, hit point. You want a decent set of crit rate on him. If you can get crit damage, that's awesome. Resistance and accuracy are great. And you want a buttload of hit points and a buttload of speed. I cannot fit all of that into 6 runes, so unfortunately, my beautiful shiny Kumar, with all of his skill ups, just kind of rots in my storage most of the time. I end up ruining him, using him for a couple weeks, and then stripping him again fairly regularly. I totally forgot about the Trevor. I don't use him hardly ever. Pretty much the only reason he has runes is because no one else particularly needs these runes. He does not have the best runes. They're way too slow to go on any monsters that I actually use. He's using these for a frontline tank for the elemental raids. Him and Elpuria make very, very strong front raid tanks. Elpuria, that is the light serpent, by the way. I don't do either of those or any of those very often, so he doesn't get used very often. The Harmonia is relatively new. I have mine on Double Nemesis Will for eating Molongs, or more appropriately, eating Molong's friends, and mine is on hit point, hit point, hit point. I am probably going to be switching that slot to hit point to a speed rune. I use her enough against Molong, but also not against Molong, that I think I could really just put a speed rune on her slot too and get better use out of her when I'm using her in other situations. My Rakan, beautiful sexy beast. You guys don't see too much because I don't use him in Guild Wars that often. I use him in Siege quite a bit. He has a fairly standard build. He's on Vampire Will, hit point, crit damage, hit point. Very, very good monster when you just need a good thing. Particularly if you can get some wind people, or basically any non-water people, to be cleaving him with AoE, so you can get the revenge procs on Collapse. You can destroy entire teams with this guy. My Okeanos is super, super new. Don't think I've used him much in videos. I'm starting to use him more in Siege, and I would like to transfer that into Guild Wars. I actually built a Gemini just for the Okeanos. Gemini Okeanos plus a damage dealer is working really, really good. I like to have the damage dealer position, that third slot, change based on what I'm trying to do. But Theomars works really good there. Rakan works decent-ish there. The Fire Panda actually works really good there too. Not so much as a straight damage dealer, but with a Fire Panda, I can keep everything alive, get some very, very strong support. In that team, the Gemini is the weak link, and I just want that Gemini to stay alive while I slowly whittle everything down. But the whole team is fast enough and sturdy enough that a Fire Panda hot actually spreads quite a long time if the enemy doesn't have much healing. Alright guys, that's it for the fire monsters. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. I'm going to have a lot of videos this week. I'm going to finish up all of this rune stuff and then still try to get you some normal PvP stuff. And then I want to do my next stream either this weekend or mid next week. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.